Hi guys, welcome to this new client interview. Today we have Joel. Joel is from Finland, Rusko, Finland, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And he is currently staying at Hungary. Now, Joel actually went from, when he started with us, from what I understand, you were absolute zero, in your business. It was doing well, but it was very inconsistent. You would jump from
Yeah.
one business opportunity to the
Yeah, I
next.
had my own old business and I wanted to move to this new business and make the jump from like the old structure to the new thing.
Got it, got it. And we saw you go from like absolute zero to having some clients and some results and then going back down. But then all of a sudden it clicked and you went from zero from then to now doing 10K a month consistently, but also every single other area of your life has started to fall into place as well. Not only that, you also found this awesome partner, and that's why you're in Hungary right now. He was telling me a little bit about the Zoom dating experience in the
COVID
pandemic.
dating.
COVID dating. That, and also investing your wealth, having like, because I remember you posted in the group, you were like, oh, I only have like 30 cents in my account. And now you have 170 or 150 grand in wealth over a year,
Yeah.
in just under a year,
Crazy
right?
change.
So
Yeah.
that's been a huge change. And I would love to get into a little bit about that and understand your experience. So, let's get started with why you decided to jump into the program. What was life like before that kind of made you say, you know what, I need to do this?
Yeah. So I had this pattern at least for a couple of years and had probably been happening earlier in my entrepreneurship, but especially the last couple of years had been like quite bad, where I would get really excited about something. I would put focus on it, do the hard work, the consistency and
Mhm.
everything. I would work like week, 1.5, 2, and then I would get like burnt out and this huge like anxiety would ramp up and it would
Mm.
cripple me and I would end up in this void. And it would come up, a few times a year when I was really getting things done that would, take me a little bit further on the business. And then it was most of the time it was struggle.
Right.
And I started to realize like, no, this is not like tactic, not strategy, not technique, not the business side of things. I started to realize more and more it was on the mental and the mindset side. And it started to feel like, damn, like there's nothing that seems to be helpful for this thing. And I remember following your YouTube videos every now and then. And then we were on the same this community discussion board, and I saw how you interacted with other people there. And I started intuitively get this feeling like, okay, this guy has something that I don't have, and that this guy knows something I don't know. And then I I contacted you. We hopped on the call, and my thought was just like, okay, I'm just here looking for if I can get this feeling like you understand my situation. And I got that feeling like, oh damn, was he ask me the right questions? Like he seems to understand and being able to pick my brain and put the right things. And then I remember this thing like you asked like, okay, what do you want to know about the program? And I was just like, the price, so I can know how much money I need to get in. And the best part was probably I said to you maybe like, okay, give me 2 weeks, I will get the money. And like 5 days later I was like, I actually have the money. So it was really funny because before we actually, or I started the program, just making the decision, already things started to click.
Mm.
And I was surprised how fast I got the money and the sales in once I got into this place of, okay, I focused on this feels good, this is the right thing, okay, let's do this, and
Mm.
bam.
Got it. So you had that intuitive thing where it's like, oh my God, everything is just like, I made the decision. Now everything's just aligning. This is what I need to do. It's like a logical next step in your journey for you to get to that next level, right?
Yeah, it's like you decide to push one thing and it creates this mini domino effect and a couple other things fall into place just because you
Mm.
made this one decision and took action.
Right, right. That's awesome. I want to go back to what you were describing. Two big things that stood out to me, Joel, were first of all, you were mentioning that burnout. And the second thing you're mentioning was the shiny object syndrome, trying out all of the different strategies. And you have this period of time where you focus really, really hard on this one thing, but then something else comes along and then you start to lose faith in this one direction. And then you withdraw back all of your progress and go into that and hard work on that. So I want you to tell me a little bit more about that shiny object syndrome, how you actually conquered it. Because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs go through that. Because nowadays there's this Clubhouse app, and everyone's talking about jumping on that and then going on Instagram, going on Facebook, and all of these social media platforms that every single online entrepreneur wants to try. So how did you conquer that shiny object syndrome and actually focus on your business? What helped you do that? I suppose the anxiety might be a big part of that too.
Yeah, so this is the thing that I have been able to unravel little by little, and I think I'm still in process of mastering this thing, but I'm getting better bit by bit. And when I started the program, I had this great vision of what I want to do in my business at that time. It was just like I was unable to do something was holding me back. I was stuck in this anxiety, motivation, destroying the progress loop, and I have this demanding personality side on me, and I have realized like a lot comes from that. I'm trying to having these ideas like how things should be, what I should be doing, or this is the best way of doing things. But on practical level, things are not perfect. The perfect action is many times the imperfect. So it's been able to, especially now lately in the last week, to realize like where I'm maybe trying to be too demanding and put my focus on the right points. Like, okay, just do what you love. Everything else will fall in place. And this has been this long process, and I'm still going through that. An example, the business that I went from 0 to 10K when I started Reality Mastery, I kind of abandoned it after that because I realized something wasn't working on that business. I went actually a little bit back into my old business, and then I got that working better than ever. And now I'm taking new leaps to new businesses because I have realized like I was trying to force myself into a direction where I'm not actually wanting to go, but it was just this like, this is the best way to do this. This seems to be the most meaningful thing I could do. This seems logically good thing. I know there's demand for these things. It's like, grab that. It's all about doing what you really love, what's your ideal self. Follow that, and that will lead you to where you need to be. And then you can use your logical mind to figure out what is the best way to do that thing. But I was trying to lead with the logical and rational mind. And then I had this demanding side of me holding me and controlling me, and I didn't see it. I thought that I was just trying to be a really good entrepreneur, but it was just my learned demandingness controlling me.
Right. It's interesting you say that because a lot of people are kind of ashamed of doing that, right? They're ashamed of going back to their old business. But it's interesting you say that, you know what, I started different business opportunities, but then I actually had to go back to my old business and I saw that I could take that to 10K a month. So most people would view that as a step back and would never do that, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a step forward. It may look like in the moment to your limited thinking that it's a step back. Oh no, I'm going back to this old business again. Oh, why am I doing this? But it's interesting that you actually courageously did that and you committed to that. And as a result, you were able to go back and apply what you learned now to help grow it to that mark. So I suppose, how are you feeling? And what is the business, by the way, first of all?
So when I started Reality Mastery, I was focusing on doing business coaching for other wellness entrepreneurs. I'm a massage therapist myself. And my old business is selling like these cheap online courses about self-treatment for neck and shoulder problems, like mobility training, stretching, foam rolling. And actually that business did end of the last year, like something like 15K profit. For almost every month. No, per month. Every month on average. And like I did not work that many hours per week in that business, but of course there's also a lot of old groundwork that I had put on the business. I already had the products, I already had some email list and stuff, but it was just being able to like click the missing pieces or putting something in place and being yourself in better mental place so you can actually achieve more of the success because I had the pieces. I knew I had the pieces, but I was able to put them better in place so I could actually create the real money and the real success and not just having the
Got it.
potential.
So interesting you say that, because a lot of the clients we see as well, they have the strategies and the tactics, but they think that they don't. They think that they're missing something, and they think they're missing the strategies and tactics. What they're
If
missing is
you
the right
think you are
perspective.
missing something,
Yeah.
then you should probably check your emotional side. That's my if you seem to be thinking something and you I must be missing something.
Mhm.
You're probably missing it because you are on your logical brain and you cannot see with your logical brain what is happening inside you on your emotional side.
Yeah, for sure. And also, one of the first results we saw from you in the group, I still remember this, was you getting a great sleep score. Like you've been able to sleep well for once. And, to tell us a little bit more about that, because you told me when we began, you were having trouble sleeping, you'd get really fatigued, and every single day there was a struggle. So, how did you overcome that? What in the program really helped you overcome that and get to that, sleeping better?
Well, I've had always this like problem of like racing mind and going a little bit like hyperactive with my mind and being creative person. But it was like being able to step into my ideal self better and like let go of the old feelings and things. And now when I was able better to step in my ideal self, my desired self, I was more relaxed. I was letting go of stuff and like not stressing so much about stuff and not forcing so much. So now my mind was more relaxed and I fell asleep faster and was actually getting more restful sleep. And the sleep thing is one thing that I'm still working, but it's been getting better, and
Mhm.
I have been better able to relax my mind also. I think this is one of those things that it has been with me always. So it's this thing that I'm all the time learning to, do better and better and see like what things trigger my mind and then I cannot sleep well and what things actually soothe my mind and so on. But it was amazing when I had that night that I was like checking my aura score
Yeah.
and you know what I felt on the morning, and I was like, damn, I haven't 2 or 3 months I haven't had single this good sleep. And
Yeah.
of course, when you sleep well, you're more energetic, and it's like when you're tired, you get caught on the negative emotions.
100%.
But when you're more energetic, you have clarity of mind and you don't get caught up in the negative thoughts and emotions and those loops. And when you're on the positive mind, you get shit done, you get more
Yep.
success, you relax. It's positive feedback loop.
100%. Yeah, it like feeds back into each other, right? If you're anxious and
Mm,
stressed, you're going to get bad sleep. And if you get bad sleep, you're going to get more anxious and stressed. So, yeah, everything just feeds into each other. But it's awesome to see that.
mm.
Um, yeah, that was one of the first results we saw from you. But I remember when we got on that initial call, I remember like feeling that, getting that energy from you, that you were really like anxious and you were really stressed out. And it just seemed really dark at that time. Like you weren't fulfilled, But now the energy is so much lighter. Like I even notice it. Like you have much lighter energy. It's like much more fun. It's much more loose instead of like
Mm.
gripping,
Yeah,
which is
and
very
one thing I want to say is like it's not like this is always when people watch like these interviews and stuff. You have this thought like, okay, that person went from that there to there, and now they're happily ever after. No, it's
right.
like for me, it hasn't been like I have come from here to here. I every now and then have really bad days or like those low points. But it's like if like 1 year ago my low points was like really low and really long, they're now shorter, not so deep, and I'm better able to pull myself back from there and notice those like, whoa, 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 this old pattern is happening. Okay, letting go of this, and okay, what would my ideal self do? So it's one thing to remember that there will always be that motion. Change. It just means that you're alive. You're not dead. Dead things stays, put in the same place. But it's just
100%.
making those that it's grow your average is growing, you're getting better on average per day, and then someday you might look back 3 years and be like, actually I haven't, had any bad sleep in last 3 months or something, but I'm not expecting things to happen like this.
Right.
Like, sometimes you have these little breakthroughs, but the long time breakthrough will happen in years, not in days.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you mentioned these breakthroughs and these realizations, because I remember there was a point in your journey when you posted in the group where you were like, I only have like 30 cents or like $3 in my account and I have bills coming in, but you know what? I'm allowing that to be. I'm even comfortable despite that. What in the program really helped you get to that state of just complete relaxation, complete letting go, and getting rid of that, anxiety that was always with you about that pressure in business, having to do well?
Well, one big key thing that I learned was what you talked about. What was the excess meaning? When you want something, you easily put too much meaning to it. You are too attached to it. You try to force it through. You are working too hard on it, and you choke yourself, and then the life takes the thing further away from you because you're putting too much meaning to it. And for me, it was like, okay, like if I cannot pay that bill, what will happen? I will get reminder in 1 week. They will put a little bit more, charge me a little bit more on the bill. Okay, then there will be a new reminder. And what will happen if I cannot pay it even then? Well, then someone comes to me and declares me bankrupt or something. What happens then? Like, I'm
So
alive.
projecting those worst case
Yeah.
scenarios, getting
Worst
okay with
case
that.
scenario is going to get a 9 to 5 job. Like,
Right, right.
most people's happy normal life is my
Yeah.
worst case scenario. So I was like, fuck this worrying. I will just focus on what I really want to do, and of course, then that money usually starts to come in.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there was a big turning point for you in terms of clarity as well. Getting clear about what you actually want and then getting out of the intellectual side of things and logically thinking about it and seeing that if I'm really passionate about it, then all of those things are going to come. How did that realization come about? And what has your journey been like in terms of clarity with the program?
Yeah, this thing like getting stuck into the logical mind, and that has been something that has been clicking for me, like especially now in the last week, um, when I have had also like other mentors and things. But I think the journey started with you. You were the first mentor for me who really got me to click like, okay, yeah, I have to tap into the feeling, the flow, and it's just like I have been growing in this pattern of logical thinking and this demandingness, and everything needs to be rational, that I get sometimes lost in those times and I don't notice it myself, and it takes some time to work on that. But I think it comes down to really digging deep on what you really like want, because when you dig down there, you realize like what you really want are not rational things. If you think about, I want that $1 million business, and you think why I want that, those reasons are all emotional. And then when you start to think about those emotions, and you think about when I can feel those emotions, it's like you can feel them right now. It's all about your perception of things. And if you cannot feel those things at this current moment, you cannot achieve the results neither. Or if you will achieve those results, they will be taken away from you because you cannot hold that state of being.
Right.
And now, once you are able to step into the idle self, those feelings, and act like that person who gets that things done and deserves that, and is able to pull off of those good things, that person starts to make those sales. That person finds those opportunities with ease, and it's more like going into a desired result, taking that, implementing it to your current life, and living it right now, and being like, hey, I can feel that abundance right now. Nothing is blocking me except myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like stepping out of your own way, in a way, like you're blocking yourself, your perception of things, and just remove that and start living, what you want, and things start to flow, and then the external reality starts to change, and then it confirms, and then you really become that person, and then the thing that the old version of you was happy is now your minimum standard.
Right.
Like example for me, it's like making 10K a month sales is like, it's hard for me to imagine a business that is making less sales than 10K a month, because I have been there for so many months already. It's for me, it's like basic.
So you've turned that into a core standard for you. Awesome, man. I suppose let's get to that relationship side. How did that come about?
So actually, after Reality Mastery, the next coaching I took was this online dating, to help me with online dating and how to navigate that, because I realized as entrepreneur, like I just don't have the time to be socializing everywhere, especially on the COVID times. And then online dating, it's so distracting, because you're talking with several people on same day, and you're sending one message on Tinder, and then they answer you 2 hours later, and you're like jumping from one thing to one thing. At the same time, you try to save your energy and focus into business, and it's clusterfuck. So that coaching helped me really, to be able to navigate the online dating better and get more confident and get more actually, interesting dates. I had great summer with dates, etc. And when the fall came, I was like, okay, I have been to like 30 dates this year, and I'm tired of just dating. I want to meet actually amazing people. And I started to relax and be more like, okay, I go into the dating like I'm just here to meet great people. If something happens, something happens. And I only open conversations with people that I genuinely find attractive. And if the conversation doesn't going on, I will just abandon it. If someone doesn't answer to me, no problem. And then I just found somewhere the Boo dating app, downloaded it a couple of days later. Oh, really interesting person. On Zoom date, we are talking 5 hours, and I'm like, damn, best date this year. And now I'm in Hungary. And it all came kind of like, I had like, okay, I want a girlfriend. Okay, I need to get dates to find that person. Then it's like, well, to get dates, I would probably need Tinder matches, be able to get the conversation going on. And I was like, okay, this is taking too much energy. I hired the coach. I got better at that. I got the date. I got better dates. I got confidence. And then I was like, okay, now I have the dates. Next thing is to get the quality in, starting to find the right people, and,
You're really thinking about it like an entrepreneur, like a business owner. It's all about the conversions. It's all about the attraction, getting more leads in.
And this is funny because with the coach, we talked so many times how much parallels are in dating and business, because you're like marketing yourself, and you have to convey your best sides to get them interested, and then you have to see where the conversation is when you can go ask for the date, and they will actually be willing to ask, and then know what's your prospect you're looking for, and everything like this, and there was also like, I did a couple months, quite hard work with the dating. I went for several dates and was talking, I don't know how many different matches I had on Tinder, but it all was needed to lay the groundwork that on the fall, I was confident enough, and I like knew what I was looking for. It's like when you're starting a business, you might need to talk with hundreds of people just to learn the basic lessons that enable you to get to the point where you can see an opportunity, or you have the needed skills to take that opportunity. And that's one thing in entrepreneurship that I think people only learn through experience, that is probably good to learn earlier. It's like focus on doing the right things and trusting the progress, because it's highly likely that you just need to put enough time and work on certain things to get to certain level and have a little bit luck, but you need to have the skill and opportunity to seize the opportunity, or the skills to seize the opportunity when you are presented with it. And it needs some work. And you will never do that work if you're anxious or if you are trying to force things that you don't really love doing. So start something that you're curious about, you're loving, figure out what is the ideal self you want to be, focus on that, put into action and work, and things will present themselves to you once you are ready for them.
I think you put this quote up: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
It's so true.
Looking at who you were back then, the version of you that was in this perpetual state of anxiety versus this version now, which is maybe in a lot less anxiety, but more in a sort of free flow, more aligned, more of, I don't really give a shit what happens. Let's see where this can go.
I have so much more like this, like how I would say, like, if earlier, even if I had free time, I was anxiously thinking about business. Nowadays, I have more this time where I'm just thinking about life and being maybe like, amazed by life instead of being anxious about.
Okay, so that's what I want to know. How did this change come about? What in the program really helped you make this realization and get to this like new version of yourself? If you could pinpoint one or two things that would, help people who are watching this, tools, maybe even a week in the program that was the most profound for you.
One tool was the pure meditation. I mean, the first time I tried it, I was like, holy moly. And for people who don't know what it is, it's just like quasi guided meditation where you jump into your ideal character. And when I mean you jump into the ideal character, many times when I opened my eyes after the meditation, I had this like visceral feeling of that the world around me had physically changed. And it's interesting feeling when you open your eyes and you're like, everything looks the same, but it's not the same. It's like I would have shifted the reality or the simulation I'm in or something like that. And also related to that was like learning, what being like present and focused on the current moment like really is, the current frame in the movie of your life. Because you cannot change things unless you can tap into the now. Because if you're not in now, you're in future or past. And then you are caught in this loop. And only way to get out of it is to be able to first get into the now. Because then you can look things objectively and change things and change your state of being and your emotions. And then you start to get different results. And the loop starts to change, but it all starts from getting this, what it means to be in now and starting to learn that. And I think pure meditation is really good tool because it's not just getting into the now, but also jumping into the feelings, emotions, and thoughts of the ideal self. And then when you open your eyes, it's like just take action with your new self. And I think one of the best examples for this was like, one morning I did this, then I was going out to the city, I jumped on the bus, and one thing I had on my self-mastery guide is like ability to strike like interesting conversations even with strangers. And when I hopped on the bus, I immediately saw from the bus driver that something's gonna happen. I had this feeling like, he's looking at me in this way. And it's like when you hop on the bus, they never talk you like anything. Like they're just like, hey, okay, good day or something like that. And I sat on the first seat on the bus where the bus driver is like right 2 meters away from you. And he started to have a conversation with me like with old buddy. And we ended up talking about my favorite hobby, orienteering. And when I hopped off the bus 20 minutes later, I was just like, what just happened? It's like this has never happened, and it was just a thing I had read from my self-mastery journal in the morning. Then do the pure meditation. I hop on the bus and bang, And I
Wow.
was just like, whoa. It was this moment when you just stop and be like, this happens only in the movies, right?
Right. I totally get it. It's like you would have expected it, but for some reason,
Yeah.
like today, you get all of these
And you
premonitions.
feel that it's different. It's
Hmm.
not just like, oh, this bus driver this day just happened to be chatty or something.
Yeah.
You feel right on the moment like something's gonna happen and it's good. You are consciously on that situation. It's not happening unconsciously. It's not thrown at you. It's happening because of reasons.
Mm. Awesome. So it sounds like being in that present moment and the pure meditation were big, big game changers for you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. I think it's like the good soil that everything else in the program fits. If you
Mm.
cannot get into the now and figure out how it feels to get into your like idle self, everything else you do is pointless because you're throwing the seeds on dry soil, so to
Mm.
speak. So first you need to tap into now, be able to click this is feel how it feels to shift into my idle self, and then everything else starts to stick.
Right. Another thing you mentioned right before the interview, which was super interesting, was the big thing that you got out of it was getting in a state where you're no longer controlling, but rather allowing things to unfold naturally. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how that was helpful in your journey?
Well, it's like if you think about it, when you're being the ideal self, the character you want to be, uh, then the things will happen easily, effortlessly. They will just happen because you are that kind of person.
Hmm.
So now, if you're forcing things or controlling things unconsciously or consciously, it means that you're not being your ideal self, because when you are your ideal self, you don't need to push anything because things are happening because there's alignment, because you're acting and thinking like that person who, example, gets those sales or gets those deals or finds those opportunities or has those amazing conversations. It's I think it should be more like you should put the effort on finding the right frequency, but once you find the frequency, let it flow. But
Mm.
what people are trying to do is that they're on the wrong frequency, trying to, shape the frequency to be the right kind of frequency. And
Right.
it will not work. So it first, use that time and effort to find the frequency. And once you find it, ride it
Mm. Okay, that's pretty interesting. You describe it like that. Don't try to change the frequency, but
itself.
just choose the
Mm,
frequency that you want to be at. Don't
mm.
try to change the world to fit what you want. Change
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
to fit what the world you want to be a part of.
Yeah, and example, now I got this thought like, uh, everything is about energy in this universe, and energy is vibration. So it's like there's your vibrational level, your emotional level where you are being, and then you just need to find the frequency and vibration you want to like imitate, you want to like be, and then
Hmm.
you need to resonate yourself with it to get the frequency right,
Yep.
and then just like let's be in this frequency, let things happen. It will confirm it to you through experiences and feedback, and it will become more and more your natural state that you will be waking up every morning. But it will take some repetition for your physical body to start to grow into that mode, because for
Mm.
years you have been fed this different kind of state, and you have been growing in certain kind of environment. So it takes some time for the physical body to start to support. It's like if I go on the gym, I might do the exactly the perfect training for today that I should be doing,
Hmm.
but I need to do that over time, for let my body have time to change things, and like physically to to molecules going
Hmm.
into different
The
places,
conditioning,
and to
right?
grow. Yeah, so same thing, like it takes some time and consistency to see the big shifts, because your physical self needs time to change. You can hop into your idol self right now when you know it, and you have good tools and a good program and good mentor, but you need to do it consistently every day
Gotcha.
for it to become the standard and the basic thing. It's like I have been running. So my running physique has gotten better. So now when I wake up in the morning, my physique is better without doing anything. But I had done some work for a couple of years to get
to
there.
bring it to the standard. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. All right, so relationships check, business check, wealth check. What's next?
Right now, I'm focusing on truly going like after like 100% after what I truly love doing. No matter will I get paid, will I get clients, will it grow big business, will it have any fucking impact on this world? Fuck the impact. I would just want to do what I really love to do, what resonates with me. Everything else will come after that. So relax. It's just life.
Most of the time, it's the thing that you love to do that actually ends up making an impact. Not when you focus directly on the impact first, because that's, again, your logical mind. It's like, I should be giving to people. I should be making an impact. That's what I should be doing. That's why a lot of coaches get started in the first place. And then they start to forget that they did this because they love the feeling of giving value to other people. But they start to think that it's an obligation, like, oh, I should be giving value to other people and I should be doing this and I should be doing that. They forget
it's like trying to think what I love.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So yeah, I guess before we conclude this interview, Joel, I would love to know who would you recommend this program to, and basically, why?
Yeah. So I thought this because I knew you are going to ask this. So for people who notice that they are held back by their old identity, the old patterns, the old self, people who notice that they're getting stuck into these loops that needs to be broken up with, learning to stay like in the present moment. And for those people who also want to get more clarity on like what kind of what is like your ideal self, what kind of person you're becoming and you want to become, because it's the three thing, like letting go of the old, being able to be in the present, and being more aligned of what you actually want to be and want from the future. And those three things, when you click, it has an effect. It starts to compound.
Got it. That's fantastic, Joel. Any final thoughts, any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with us?
Just like for anyone viewing this, sit while in silence after this video. Feel how you emotionally feel physically in your body, and use your thoughts and imagination to shift that state to whatever you want to feel, what kind of person you want to be. Change the vibration level in your body, and then when you are in the new frame, new energy level, ask yourself, what does this version of me do right now? And let that answer pop up inside you. Don't answer with your logical mind. Let it come from your ideal self and from those feelings. And it's the deep guidance, you can get. And it's like, if you're trying to do this and you have no idea how to do it, then you need Reality Mastery Program. Because it's like, I have, sometimes tried to, teach people these things, and then they have people being like, I cannot get it. And it's like, that's exactly the thing why you need it, because, it takes some time to click, with everything.
Sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. All right. Awesome, Joel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to insert Joel's socials so that you can get in touch with him, or, you can follow him in the pinned comments or in the description box below. And yeah, man, thank you so much for doing this. Till next time.
It was nice to chat.
Peace.